Alright guys, I'm back for the news, and this might end up being a short one depending on how much I have to say, but, you know. Microsoft has revealed curated demos program for Gamepass members in new Xbox Design Lab colors. Microsoft revealed today that a new app for Xbox... I'll get into this more later. This is kind of earlier than expected that we got the Samsung app here, but I'll get into that more of that later. That's more interesting to me. We'll let the Xbox Game Pass subscribers stream their games, however, that's not all the company had to reveal today. In a new Xbox Wire blog post, Microsoft discusses Project Moorcroft. I almost said Mooncroft. Seemingly its take on PlayStation Plus games trial system, launching with the revamped service on June 13th. According to the blog post, the program will bring the fun and discovery of playing new curated demos of upcoming games to our Xbox Game Pass members, and it will begin rolling out next year. We'll start with a focus on providing independent developers from around the world with opportunities to excite their games. Xbox says participating developers will be able to see how their demos perform, and the company will compensate them too, enabling them to bring their creativity to Xbox and reach new audiences with Xbox Game Pass. Also says that later this year, it's our intent to roll out the ability for Game Pass Ultimate members to play from the cloud select games that they already own or purchased outside of the Game Pass library. Pretty much be able to play cloud versions of the games that you already own, purchased throughout your Xbox years of having an Xbox, digitally. You wouldn't have to use your Xbox Game Pass membership to be able to cloud stream them. You wouldn't. Something like that. I'm sure you still have to have online, but as of right now, cloud streaming is done through the Xbox Game Pass app. So, elsewhere in the blog post, that Microsoft has revealed new colors for Xbox Design Lab. They include soft pink, soft orange, soft green, soft purple. There are new camo top cases, which make matching side caps to include mineral camo and Arctic camo, forest camo, sand glow camo, and blaze camo. Xbox Design Labs is launching in 11 new countries, including Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Korea, Singapore, Czech Republic, Greece, Hungary, Norway, Slovakia, and Switzerland. Xbox Design Labs will come to Taiwan later this year. Anyways, going back into what I was saying here, Microsoft is bringing Xbox Game Pass to 2022 Samsung TVs this month. I have a lot to say on this, actually. I thought that they were going to wait to put the Game Pass on Samsung, but it seems like they're earlier than expected, because they're probably having that console streaming device coming out soon here. But I kind of figured they were going to put the console streaming device out first before they did this, but they just blew my expectations and accelerated their plans. Anyway, so basically you'll be able to play any Xbox titles through your Samsung. You don't have to buy a console anymore. Which I didn't. I just figured, hey, I don't think the TV hardware is good enough to be able to handle this through alone. I figured they would want to slowly ease themselves into actually putting the app on a device, but apparently I'm wrong. I made comments in my previous videos in which I thought they were going to work on their servers over time, like kind of like how when you play streaming right now, it's kind of like it's not 100% perfect. It's kind of buggy, kind of, not buggy, but like you get what I mean. Like the frames drop and up and down, depending on fixed connections are the best, but even with them, they're not 100% great. So I figured they were gonna use like a streaming device where they do some of the software processing for the games on that, and then shared like the burden with the servers, and so making it more stable. But apparently I was wrong. They just went straight to freaking putting it on the Samsung TV with the newer TVs coming out. I mean, whatever works, but they're ahead of schedule from what I thought they were gonna do. Some of my previous videos to get what I was talking about. Basically, I just figured that the new Xbox console streaming stick, just a brief synopsis, would act as like a minimal-based hardware accelerated device for the streaming service, so the servers don't have to handle all the load from the game. So you get a more smoother game stream. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if the Samsung TVs have the technology in them to be able to handle that. That's why I said I doubt that they were going to put the app, come out with the app first, but apparently I'm wrong. I guess they just rushed the gun like, we're putting it on Samsung, baby. Okay, well, anyways, tell me what you guys think on that. We're headed towards an all-streaming future. Square Enix announces Final Fantasy VII Anniversary Showcase for next week. And basically, Final Fantasy VII's second part, DLC, that they were saying that they were releasing the rest of the story parts through DLC. They're talking about it's possible that they might be talking about that the 16th. I mean, it's been a while. It would make sense, seeing as this is a Final Fantasy Anniversary Showcase. What else could they possibly talk about anniversary-wise unless I have some other legacy titles that they remade in the works or something? I doubt that, but you know what I mean. Stuff that's been in the pipeline for a while, it would make sense. Final Fantasy 7 DLC Part 2. I don't know. You tell me. Square Enix has announced a broadcast happening next week for Final Fantasy VII's 25th anniversary celebration. More specifically, the celebration broadcast will air on June 16th at 3 p.m. PTXP, 6 p.m. ET, on the official Square Enix YouTube and Twitch channels. As for what to expect, the answer is simple. Final Fantasy VII, this could be a stream specifically about the original release, which is stored 25 years ago, but any Final Fantasy fan knows. And if you're like me, hopes we might hear about the Final Fantasy VII remake, or rather its sequel. Here's what Final Fantasy VII Remake director Tetsuya Nomura says about the stream. We will be streaming for our 25th anniversary celebration around the 10 minutes long. It will be a short and sweet, but we have packed in lots of information, so I hope everyone can look forward to an unveiling. That's not that long. I wonder how much they could have possibly packed into 10 minutes. They're saying they packed stuff into that, but I have no idea. Perhaps I'm reading too much into this, but let's put some pieces together. Nomura directed Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is a streaming celebrating Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, obviously. That's where my mind immediately went with that, so the DLC most likely. Players want to hear about the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Nomura specifically says unveiling. What could Nomura unveil? And better the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake, of course. The company could just reveal new Final Fantasy VII merch, or even they could bust people's balls and do that, I guess. Hopefully YouTube doesn't ding me for that. Upcoming Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, a mobile take on beloved game, so it's best to keep your expectations in check. That's certainly possible. They could just throw out a mobile title there and just be like, there you go, guys. I'm sure that'll be lukewarm to most people. I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't be interested in that. I have enough mobile games as it is. I've been playing. Tell me what you guys think. I haven't even started Final Fantasy VII, to be honest with you guys. It's still in my backlog. And we had the Summer Game Fest the other day. Live 2020 biggest games and announcements. And they had Goat Simulator 3 in here. I'll go over the list of them. But I thought that was funny because I didn't think that I was ever going to get a sequel. When we just make sequels for all the simulator games like Train Sim, I don't know, Truck Sim, Plane Simulator. I have no idea. It just didn't make any sense to me. I kind of thought those were just standalone things and they were never going to make sequels of them. Street Fighter 6, there was stuff on that. Alien Dark Descent, the Callisto Protocol, Modern Warfare 2. They had some, people were complaining about that trailer they dropped initially, and then I honestly don't blame them. But then they said there'll be more tomorrow on the campaign gameplay, and they did. They posted another trailer. I didn't look at it anytime soon, but I'm assuming that's what that was. And then they have the Witchfire, Stormgate, Goat Simulator 3, as I said, Marvel's Midnight Suns. Funny. That's Venom. Anyways, Zenless Zone Zero. I think this is by the same creators of Genshin Impact, which I've never played. I've just heard that people were saying is freaking amazing. Saints Row, Layers of Fear, Gotham Knights, The Last of Us, and that's I don't know what the heck that is. I've never played The Last of Us. Yeah, there was a bunch. These are the other featured games, but this is pretty much all there was this week. I post things on a weekly basis nowadays, guys. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description below. Drop me a like and subscribe. If you like my videos, please ring the bell. I'd greatly appreciate it. Any news I don't get here, I'll post on my Twitter, and I'll see you guys in the next video.